Top 5. Strict signs of the Zodiac. The 5 selected signs of the Zodiac never change their minds or back down when others hesitate. Their strictness is not about harshness, but about unbreakable discipline, inner control, and the ability to maintain boundaries where others fail. That is why I am opening today's selection, to show why these signs perceive the world differently, firmly, fundamentally, with a cold clarity that sets them apart from everyone else. In this video, I will explain what shapes their relentlessness, what traits make them key figures in energetic interactions, and why their strictness often becomes the driving force behind order and power. There will be no abstract phrases here, only specifics, character, internal structure, and what lies beneath the surface of their behaviour. Before we move on to the 5 strictest signs, write in the comments, which sign do you think should be on this list? And if you want to receive in-depth analytical reviews of each sign, subscribe to the channel right now. What follows will change your understanding of characters forever. First sign. Gemini are perceived by those around them as easygoing and sociable, but this sign hides one of the strictest internal control systems. Its strictness is not ostentatious or demonstrative. It manifests itself in demands for quality conversation, logical decisions, and consistency between words and actions. Gemini cannot tolerate ambiguity, vague wording, and people who are confused about their own positions. For them, strictness is intellectual discipline. If someone is unable to keep up with their pace of thinking, quickly analyze information, and be accountable for what they say, Gemini will mercilessly reduce the level of contact or completely cease it. In everyday interactions, this sign strictly filters its environment. It can be polite, even pleasant, but inside, an evaluation mechanism is constantly at work. Gemini clearly distinguishes useful information from noise, promising people from those who waste time. Their strictness manifests itself in their unwillingness to repeat the obvious, explain things twice, or drag along those who are not developing. They do not shout or pressure, but their cold distance quickly makes it clear where the boundaries of what is acceptable lie. In the professional sphere, Gemini act as uncompromising analysts. They do not make decisions based on emotions and do not make concessions out of sympathy. If a project does not have a clear structure, logic, and potential, it will be rejected without lengthy explanations. This sign is strict about deadlines, accuracy of wording, and responsibility for commitments. Any inattention or superficiality is quickly noted and remembered. Gemini rarely give second chances when it comes to competence. In close relationships, their strictness manifests itself differently, but no less noticeably. They cannot tolerate manipulation, emotional pressure, or chaos. Clarity of agreements and mutual respect for personal space are important to them. Gemini can be warm and supportive, but only if the other party is capable of thinking independently and does not shift responsibility. If boundaries are systematically violated, this sign does not make a scene, but simply changes the format of the relationship, leaving the person behind the closed doors of their life. The value of Gemini as a strict sign lies in their ability to bring order without pressure. They do not break, but weed out. They do not force, but cease interaction. Their exactingness creates an environment around them of people who think, are responsible for their decisions, and respect time. It is this quiet, intellectual strictness that makes Gemini dangerous to chaos and indispensable where clarity, structure, and cold calculation are needed. The second sign is Sagittarius. Sagittarius rarely seems strict at first glance, because they have a natural lightness, quick reactions, and the ability to joke and diffuse tension. But this lightness is deceptive. Inside Sagittarius, there is a strict code that is not discussed or revised according to the moods of others. His strictness is not about controlling details, but about principles, the boundaries of honor and personal freedom as a basic condition for any relationship. When someone tries to restrict him, force him to justify himself or conform, Sagittarius becomes sharp, harsh, and uncompromising. He does not ask for permission to be himself. He simply is who he is, and people either accept it or lose contact. In everyday communication, Sagittarius's strictness manifests itself through directness, which can sound like a verdict. He is unable to wear a mask of politeness for long when he sees insincerity. If a person lies, manipulates, plays with hints, or drags out time, Sagittarius quickly cuts off the excess with one sentence. His position is simple. Words must have meaning. He is strict about promises, responsibility, and sincerity. This sign has no patience for those who speak beautifully, but live without support from facts and actions. Sagittarius's greatest drama lies in their inner conflict between great faith in people and harsh experiences of disappointment. They are capable of enthusiasm, support, and opening doors of opportunity. But at the same time, they carefully observe who comes inside. If they see weakness of character, pettiness, or a habit of shifting responsibility, their tone changes. And then a different level of severity appears: cold, firm, unyielding. They do not smear complaints, play the educator, or bargain. They simply set a limit. Beyond that, only according to the rules. At work, Sagittarius is strict about results, not the process. He does not care how many times someone repeats that they tried. What matters is what has been done and whether it can be relied upon. They cannot stand imitation, empty presentations, or petty intrigues. Their demanding nature often frightens the weak because they highlight reality without embellishment. They can be a partner who takes a project to another level, but only if the team keeps up the pace and does not hide behind excuses. In close relationships, Sagittarius is strict about respect. He does not allow control, jealousy as a method of management, or constant checks. His demand is simple and harsh: trust or nothing. Anyone who breaks this rule will quickly feel a distance that cannot be bridged with words. Sagittarius does not seek revenge or play manipulative games. They simply change the status of the person in their life. And this change can be the most painful because it happens without hysterics, but with absolute finality. The value of Sagittarius as a strict sign is that they maintain a high standard of dignity. They do not allow themselves to be devalued, do not allow meanings to be devalued, and do not allow freedom to be replaced by dependence. His strictness is an inner support that prevents him from degrading along with the weaknesses of others. Those around him either grow or leave, and it is this uncompromising nature that makes Sagittarius dangerous to lies and a savior to those who want to live honestly and strongly. The third sign is Capricorn. Capricorn does not give the impression of being strict. It is strict. Its character seems to be made of stone, discipline, and cold experience, which does not allow it to relax where others seek comfort. Capricorn's strictness is not about prohibitions for the sake of prohibitions. It is about the maturity that this sign demands of itself and the world. It sees reality without embellishment and does not tolerate weak decisions. If a situation requires responsibility, Capricorn does not look for someone to blame. It looks for a system. And if there is no system, it creates one, even if this means appearing harsh and unpleasant to someone. In communication, Capricorn is strict to the point. They do not like unnecessary words, theatrical emotions, and long explanations that change nothing. They are annoyed by superficiality. When people talk about big things but cannot cope with small ones, they are capable of listening for a long time, but only if they hear meaning, specifics, and responsibility. If chaos, excuses, and blame shifting begin, Capricorn becomes cold, sharp, and detached. He does not engage in conflict for the sake of conflict. He simply shows the line. Beyond that, only by the rules. The drama of Capricorn is that he often has no right to weakness. He has an inner need to control, stay the course, and not allow himself to fall. They may appear calm, but it is the calmness of a person who is used to taking responsibility even when no one thanks them. And that is why their strictness sometimes seems ruthless. They evaluate not intentions, but consequences. They do not believe words without confirmation. They do not trust a person who does not keep their word, even if they are very charismatic. At work, Capricorn is a test of professionalism. He is demanding when it comes to deadlines, quality, structure, and repeatability of results. He is annoyed by brilliant ideas that cannot be implemented, and people who confuse creativity with irresponsibility. They do not like risk for the sake of excitement. They like calculated risk, where there is a plan, control, and a backup. If Capricorn is in charge of the process, they will force everyone to grow up, raise the level of discipline, think ahead, and stop playing with chance. In close relationships, their strictness manifests itself as a demand for stability. He cannot tolerate chaotic, "I love you, then I disappear" behaviour, and he does not accept manipulation or ultimatums. He needs action, not emotional drama. He can be very devoted, but his trust is built slowly and through real actions. If Capricorn feels betrayal, disrespect, or a systematic violation of agreements, he closes himself off. And this is not just an offence. It is a transition to a mode where a person no longer has access to his inner world. It is almost impossible to open this door a second time. The value of Capricorn as a strict sign is that it holds the foundation. It does not allow what should work to fall apart. They know how to set boundaries, establish rules, and ensure results when others are drowning in words. Their strictness commands respect, even if it initially provokes resistance. Being around them, it becomes clear that adulthood is not about age, but about the ability to take responsibility for one's choices. And Capricorn makes this ability a prerequisite for any intimacy. The fourth sign is Virgo. Virgo does not raise her voice or exert pressure. Her strictness works differently. She silently sees more than meets the eye, and that is what makes her dangerously demanding. Virgo notices details, mistakes, inaccuracies, and logical inconsistencies that others overlook. Her internal quality standards are too high to tolerate chaos. She does not tolerate carelessness, superficiality, and irresponsibility, even if they are covered up by charisma or loud words. Virgo's strictness is an internal control directed primarily at herself, but automatically extended to everyone around her. In communication, Virgo seems reserved, but this reserve is a form of evaluation. She listens, analyzes, compares, and draws conclusions without emotional outbursts. If a person talks a lot but makes no sense, Virgo quickly loses interest. She is strict about logic, accuracy of wording, and the correspondence of words to reality. She is irritated by generalizations, exaggerations, and constant excuses. She does not accuse directly, but her cold distance clearly shows that her level of trust has been reduced. Virgo's drama lies in her constant inner tension. She lives with the feeling that everything can be done better, cleaner, more efficiently. This prevents her from relaxing and forces her to keep the bar where others have long since lowered it. Virgo reacts painfully to chaos and disorder because she perceives them as a threat to stability. That is why her strictness sometimes seems ruthless. She does not understand how one can live without structure, order, and responsibility for details. At work, Virgo is a strict filter. She checks, clarifies, corrects, and does not accept the result if she sees errors. Her demanding nature can be exhausting, but it is precisely what guarantees quality. Virgo does not believe in accidental success and does not rely on luck. System, repeatability, and control are important to her. If someone makes mistakes over and over again, Virgo stops investing energy. She does not make a scene. She simply removes the unreliable element from her workspace. In close relationships, Virgo's strictness manifests itself through a demand for maturity. She does not tolerate emotional chaos, tantrums, or shifting responsibility. Stability in actions is important to her, not pretty words. If a partner is unable to keep their word or constantly creates problems, Virgo closes off. Her coldness is not revenge, but a defense mechanism. She does not allow what she has built up slowly and carefully to be destroyed. Virgo's value as a strict sign lies in her ability to cleanse space. She removes the superfluous, sifts out the unnecessary, and leaves only what works. Her exactingness creates order where it is lacking. With Virgo, it becomes clear that responsibility begins with the little things, and it is these that determine who is trustworthy and who is not. The fifth sign is Aries. Aries does not hide its strictness. It lives by it. Its harshness is open, direct, and instantaneous. This is a sign that does not tolerate delays, doubts, and half measures. If the situation requires action, Aries acts. If it sees weakness, it presses on. His strictness is not about control, but about willpower and speed of reaction. He does not understand how one can hesitate for a long time when everything is obvious. That is why those around him either become stronger or quickly drop out of the race. In communication, Aries is strict in his position. It is important for him that a person knows clearly what they want and is ready to take responsibility for it. He cannot tolerate vague statements, passive aggression, or playing the victim. If someone avoids decisions or shifts responsibility, Aries reacts sharply. His words may be harsh, but they are always direct. He does not hide his irritation or mask his disagreement with politeness. For him, honesty is more important than comfort. Aries' drama lies in his constant inner tension to be first. He does not allow himself weakness because he perceives it as defeat. This creates intense internal pressure, which manifests itself in the form of demandingness towards others. Aries cannot tolerate slowness, doubt, or fear. He lives in a state of constant challenge and expects those around him to keep up with his pace. If they don't, he doesn't slow down. He just moves on without those who couldn't keep up. At work, Aries is strict about getting results here and now. He is irritated by long meetings without decisions, endless discussions, and procrastination. They value initiative, courage, and a willingness to take responsibility. Mistakes do not scare them, but passivity does. If someone is afraid to act, Aries quickly loses respect for them. Their style is harsh but effective. They move the process forward, even if it seems too abrupt to some. In close relationships, his strictness manifests itself as a demand for equality of power. Aries cannot tolerate weakness, dependence, and constant checks. He needs a partner who can withstand his energy and not break under pressure. If boundaries are violated or manipulation begins, Aries reacts instantly. They do not hold grudges. They cut to the quick and put an end to things if they feel disrespected. Aries' value as a strict sign lies in their ability to break the deadlock. They do not allow you to dwell on fears and doubts. Their demanding nature is an impetus for action, even if it is painful. It is impossible to pretend or hide around them. They force you to be real, strong, and responsible. And it is this uncompromising directness that makes Aries one of the strictest signs of the zodiac.